Can you imagine a world where, in 2026, the most powerful superpower on Earth, the United States, is defeated by a nation it has sanctioned for over 4 decades? At first, it sounds impossible. Unthinkable, even. But history has a strange way of proving the impossible possible. This isn't just speculation. This is a chilling prediction made by a game theory expert, a prediction that is now beginning to look disturbingly real. A war. That could change everything. This is not just another theory floating around the internet. It's a calculated warning. A scenario where, within months, the money sitting quietly in your bank account could lose its value. Where global markets could collapse overnight, and the system we've trusted for decades could begin to fall apart. In the next few minutes, we're going to uncover a narrative, one that most people never stop to question. How can low-cost weapons challenge trillion-dollar military power? And more importantly, is this conflict really about war, or is it about something much bigger? It all begins with 3 predictions. The first came true. The second also unfolded with unsettling accuracy. But it's the third prediction, the most dangerous one, that has left analysts deeply concerned. The claim is simple, yet shocking: in this war, the United States cannot win. Not because it lacks strength, but because the rules of war have changed. For over 20 years, one side has been preparing. Not loudly, not visibly, but strategically, patiently, and with purpose. This wasn't about building the biggest army. It wasn't about matching power with power. It was about understanding the system and learning exactly how to break it. Because modern wars are no longer fought the way they used to be. They're not just fought on battlefields. They're fought through economies, through supply chains, through psychological pressure, and most importantly, through time. Instead of direct confrontation, a new kind of strategy has emerged: a network of indirect forces, regional alliances, and decentralized operations. The goal is no longer just to defeat an army. The goal is to exhaust it, to stretch it, to drain it, and to force it into a position where every move comes at a cost. Because the real target is not soldiers. It's the system that supports them. Think about it. What truly powers a global superpower? It's not just weapons. It's not just military bases. It's the economy, energy flows, trade routes, financial systems, and global trust. Now imagine if all of that begins to crack. Critical infrastructure is no longer off limits. Energy facilities, shipping lanes, communication networks, and even something as basic as water. In many regions, millions of people rely entirely on desalination, turning seawater into drinkable water. Now picture this: a single low-cost strike on a major desalination plant. Within days, water supplies begin to run out. Within weeks, entire cities face crisis. No missiles. No large-scale invasion. Just one precise disruption with massive consequences. And it doesn't stop there. One of the most important maritime routes in the world, responsible for transporting a huge percentage of global oil and food supply, faces growing instability. At first, it looks like a regional issue. But in reality, it's a pressure point. Because when energy stops flowing, everything else follows. Prices rise. Markets panic. Supply chains break. And suddenly, what seemed distant becomes personal. But here's where things become even more alarming. The most advanced military systems ever created are struggling against some of the simplest weapons. Cheap drones, basic missile systems, minimal technology with maximum impact. Why? Because these systems were built for a different era, an era where wars were fought between equal powers, where strength was measured in size, speed, and firepower. But today's battlefield is different. It's asymmetric. In this new kind of warfare, a weapon that costs thousands can force a response costing millions. And that imbalance changes everything. Imagine this: a low-cost drone is launched. To stop it, a highly advanced interceptor missile is fired. The drone costs a few $1,000s. The missile costs millions. Now repeat that again and again, every single day. Who runs out of resources first? This is no longer just a military conflict. It's a financial war. A war of endurance. A war where survival depends not on power, but on sustainability. Over time, even the strongest systems begin to feel the pressure. Stockpiles shrink. Budgets stretch. Decisions become harder. Because every action comes with a price. History has already taught us something important: air power alone has never been enough to win a war. No matter how advanced, no matter how precise, real control has always required something more: presence, ground force, direct engagement. But escalation to that level comes with risks far beyond the battlefield. Because once boots hit the ground, there's no easy way out. Conflicts become longer, more complex, and more unpredictable. And the cost becomes unimaginable. So now, the real question isn't who is stronger. The real question is who can survive longer. Who can adapt faster? Who can think differently? Who can play a completely different game while the other side is still playing by old rules? Because in this kind of war, victory doesn't always belong to the most powerful. Sometimes, it belongs to the most prepared. And if this prediction turns out to be true, then what we are witnessing right now is not just another geopolitical conflict. It's the beginning of a shift. A shift from a unipolar world to a multipolar one. A world where power is no longer concentrated in one place, but distributed across many. And with that shift comes uncertainty, economic instability, political tension, and global realignment. The kind of change that doesn't just affect governments, but affects ordinary people. Your savings. Your job. Your future. All connected to a system that most people never think about until it starts to break. And the most dangerous part is that these changes don't happen all at once. They happen slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. Until one day, everything feels different. So the question you need to ask yourself is this: are we watching a temporary conflict, or the early stages of a global transformation? Because if history has taught us anything, it's that the biggest shifts in power don't announce themselves. They build in silence. They grow in the background. And by the time the world finally notices, it's already too late. What do you think? Is this a realistic scenario, or just an exaggerated prediction? Because one thing is certain. The world is changing. The only question is, are we ready for it?